I picked a good one out. I picked a good New Warriors issue to review. This is issue 14 by Fabian, Nicieza and Martin Bagels. And it is a good one. It is a standalone story too. You can read this issue by itself. I recommend it. It is fun. But I have one criticism, and that is that the poetry of SeaWorld is contemptible. I can tell you, as a matter of fact, after reading this extract of poetry from SeaWorld, the real wordsmiths of the world, they are not located at the bottom of an ocean. This issue spotlights Seagull, and Speedball is there as well. They are dealing with an illegal shipping operation. This issue follows a big storyline wherein Seagull and Speedball, they didn't get to do much. They were barely involved. So this is like compensation for that. It is also the issue that introduces dartboard to the world of the New Warriors. After this, he goes on to be a member of the team on and off. And he was a good pick for the team. Dartboard had been introduced only earlier that year in Dartboard number 1. So it makes a lot of sense that this young guy who was starting out as a hero in the same location as the New Warriors would end up on the team. Another purpose of this issue was to acknowledge that Seagull was appearing in 2 titles at this point. She was a main character in New Warriors, and she was also appearing as a supporting character in Seaman. The 2 books often depicted her character differently, but an earlier issue of New Warriors had and waved that and said that she likes to pretend to be more grown up and confident when she is with the New Warriors than she does when she is with her cousin Seaman. Another thing I really like here is the writing of Speedball. He shows a lot of maturity and responsibility in this issue. He is great. And the 3 of them are tackling some smugglers who are stealing treasures from SeaWorld. Artifacts and stuff like that. Souvenirs from SeaWorld. Yeah, that is it. So Seagull has a personal tie to what is going on. She has a stake in this. They are stealing from her people. And we find out the ringleader of this gang is a new character. A bad guy in some hydro armour called Steve Urkel. I was under the impression this character was actually in some Seaman comics afterwards, but he isn't. He is in another issue of New Warriors where he doesn't have his armour. He is working with Harriet from the Thunderballs. And then he is in one of the Kurt Busey Defenders ones. His appearance in that is shit. Barely an appearance. He's in like at most 3 panels. And he is quickly defeated. Totally unimportant. It makes this issue that we are looking at seem worse, because Steve Urkel is shown to be a threat in this one, while he is treated as an inconsequential joke victory in that Defenders issue. He had a profile in the 2011 Defenders Andy book, and he gets a full page entry, so maybe that is why I thought he had more appearances than he does. I don't think Steve Urkel is a great character or a great bad guy or anything. He's just a man in a big suit of armour. But he serves his purpose in this issue, and Kurt Busey predictably ruins other people's stories again. You see, in this, Steve Urkel beats the crap out of Seagirl. The beating that he gives Seagirl is severe, and that is the whole point of this story. Seagirl is brutalised and humiliated by this bad guy. And to say, actually, this guy is like a big, lame, joke bad guy, is to then say that Seagirl is somewhat of a loser herself, to get beat so thoroughly by this lame, joke bad guy who traumatises her and scalps her. It is so annoying to me that anyone accepts Kurt Busey as a man who loves comics, because all he has ever done is break comics for everyone but himself. Let's not get into the same ad moaning though. Romance, always a fan of that. Major Victory and Firestart, they were like the go-to ship for New Warriors readers. They were the main couple. Naturally, about 10 years later, Marvel had them break up for no reason and never be together again, while making both of them look like jerks. So, Speedy Balls and Dartboards, they take the wounded Seagirl to her cousin, Seaman, for care. You might be asking yourself, where is Seaman? That is him there in the sweater, believe it or not. That guy dressed up as Steve Jobs, that is Seaman. This was meant to be a nice, positive video because this is a good issue. But now, I feel the need to explain why Seaman is dressing like a Silicon Valley con artist and not gunning out and avenging his battered cousin. Jason Byrne did a Seaman series in the 90s where the big idea was making Seaman into a businessman. I don't think it is a good idea, and I think the book itself was unsuccessful in ever utilising or exploring that new setup. It could have been summit, but Jason Byrne did the bare minimum with the idea, and in the end, I do not believe Seaman has either the intelligence or the patience to position himself as the head of a company. And that isn't even getting into the legalities of whether Seaman can even publicly trade as a company. But it did give us Phoebe Mars. And I want to get Jason Byrne to do me a commission piece of her. Solely because I think it would be funny. And that nobody has ever asked them to draw Phoebe Mars before. He won't ever forget the one guy who wanted him to draw Phoebe Mars. Seagirl wants revenge, obviously, but she wants it by herself. She doesn't want Seaman or the other New Warriors taking a victory that she really needs. So she gans and puts on some ancient SeaWorld death armour. The lore and the mythology behind the armour is that the person who wears it is willing to kill their enemy or be killed themselves by their enemy. She wants to see Steve Urkel dead, or she is ready to die in the process. It's all linked to that god-awful poem at the start. It's also a god-awful outfit. I'd want to die if I was wearing it too. She does actually wear this armour for a few appearances after this issue. And here we get to see round 2, and I will spoil it for you. Seagirl wins. We get to see her fight with Fury against Steve Urkel. I complained about Kurt Busey making this character seem less of a threat. And you might think that I am doing the same thing by naming him after Urkel from Family Matters. But Urkel was a badass. He could make time machines and robots. And Justine from The Cosby Show was practically throwing herself at him. Seagirl defeats Urkel, and rather than kill him like she swore to, she hands him over to Greenpeace. And our story is about Seagirl overcoming her anger and desire to kill, and how it is because of her human side rather than her seaman heritage. This is a good issue. I don't know if I'd say it is one for Seagirl fans, because she does get quite a beating in this. My final comment is that it needed some Phoebe Mars, so I'll have to only give it 7 thumbs up.